My name is Mike, and I've been a ranger at Yellowstone National Park for over 20 years. I've seen the park's beauty and its dangers, but one incident from 2018 still haunts me. I was directly involved in it, and it changed my life forever. It all started when I met Sarah and Jake, a young couple who had come to Yellowstone for an adventurous camping trip. They were experienced hikers and seemed well prepared for their journey. They told me about their plan to explore some of the less-traveled paths, including a place they had heard of called the Phantom Trail. I warned them that it wasn't on any official maps and was known for its eerie stillness, but they were determined. A few days later, I decided to check on them. Something about their eagerness to explore that particular trail had left me uneasy. I started my search at their base camp near the Lamar Valley, but they had already moved deeper into the wilderness. I followed their trail, leading me to the Phantom Trail. The deeper I went, the quieter the forest became. The usual sounds of nature had all but disappeared. It felt as though the forest was holding its breath, waiting. Around midday, I stumbled upon an old, abandoned campsite near a bubbling hot spring. The tent was weathered and torn, belongings scattered, a rusty camping stove, a moldy backpack, and a faded photograph of a family smiling in front of Old Faithful. I felt a chill run down my spine. It was as if the place had been frozen in time, left in a hurry by whoever had been there. I pressed on, my sense of unease growing. The trail led me further into the depths of the forest, and soon, I began to hear whispers, soft, unintelligible murmurs that seemed to come from the trees themselves. As the day turned to night, the whispers grew louder and more persistent, seeming to circle me. I reached a small, secluded pond where the water was eerily still, reflecting the darkening sky. There, I found their campfire, still smoldering. I called out their names, but the forest swallowed my voice. That night, the whispers returned, now accompanied by faint, ghostly lights flickering in the distance. I tried to rationalize what I was experiencing, but deep down, I knew something was terribly wrong. At dawn, I discovered Jake, disoriented and alone. His eyes were wide with fear, and he kept mumbling about Sarah being gone. Her sleeping bag was empty, and her belongings were untouched. Panic surged through me as I realized the gravity of the situation. We searched for hours, following any hint of her trail, but there was no sign of her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. The whispers were louder now, almost mocking, and the ghostly lights seemed to dance around us, leading us deeper into the forest. Desperation took over as we pushed further into the forest, guided only by the faint, mocking whispers. We stumbled upon another clearing, this one marked by strange, crude symbols carved into the trees. In the center, a circle of stones surrounded a small, charred area, an old fire pit, perhaps used for some unknown ritual. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the distant calls of animals. Our flashlights flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to move on their own. We felt eyes on us, watching from the darkness, but every time we turned, there was nothing but the forest. As night fell, we found an overgrown path that led to an old, crumbling cabin. The structure was barely standing, its roof sagging and walls covered in moss. Inside, we found more of the strange symbols, along with remnants of old, tattered clothes and broken tools. In the corner of the cabin, a large mirror, covered in a thick layer of dust, stood propped against the wall. As I wiped the glass clean, I saw movement behind me, a shadowy figure, just for a moment, before disappearing. My heart pounded as I spun around, but the room was empty. Fear took hold, and we fled the cabin, running blindly through the forest until we reached our campsite. We collapsed by the fire, gasping for breath, as the whispers grew louder, now almost deafening. They seemed to be inside our heads, filling our minds with confusion and dread. We knew we had to get out, to find help, but the forest had become a labyrinth of shadows and unseen terrors. Every path we took seemed to lead us back to the campsite, and the sense of being watched never left us. At dawn, We finally broke free of the forest's grip, stumbling into the ranger station, barely coherent. A search party was organized, and they combed the area for days. They found nothing, no tracks, no signs of a struggle, nothing to indicate where Sarah might have gone. We were baffled. In my years as a ranger, I had heard stories of other disappearances in the park, unsolved mysteries that haunted the vast wilderness of Yellowstone. The official report listed Sarah as missing, but I knew she was more than just missing. The forest had taken her, just as it had taken others before her. Months have passed, and I still hear the whispers in my dreams, calling me back to the phantom trail. I often wonder what really happened in those woods. The wilderness holds its secrets tightly, and some mysteries are never meant to be solved. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that something is out there, watching, waiting. Yellowstone, with all its beauty and wonder, harbors a darkness that only a few have glimpsed. And those who do are never the same.